Here be the template. Okay, my botched OBE abduction by Joel this morning. And that's not the first time he's done that. To Guatemala instead. There's Guatemala, and in my scenario there were mountains in the background. So that was kind of cool. Well, there's always mountains in those kind of countries. What the fuck was that? Okay, it's a small town village in non-touristy area. There's a mousetrap game and the yummy, yummy, yummy food, which I can't really eat anymore. And then there's the two houses that I saw. And there was a tourist taking pictures, like 58-year-old woman taking, pictures like she was a tourist. And then there's the funny, a vendor was selling these funny dresses, like sundresses. But they were really beautiful in the scenario, but now I realize they're kind of, it doesn't seem so that, like, the dresses don't seem so normal now, but they were very like beautiful in the scenario, and they seemed just like normal looking dresses. But now I realize, well, that one was okay. That one was more normal. The cross stitch or whatever it was, the stitching. But I mean, I realized, like, you're not really gonna wear a dress like that, with these like patches, these geometric, colorful patches on them, kind of like that, because that's how it was in the scenario. But yeah, in the scenario though, they were just like totally beautiful. But now I realize they would look a little weird and odd, in this dimension. But yeah, so the flat face beans won, because Joel tried to give me experience, but he didn't give it to me at the perfect timing and screwed up. So then the flat face reptilian beings came along and gave me this experience, because they love to give me these kinds of experiences. And I did have Guatemala on the brain, because I've been eating these awesome watermelons, and some are from Guatemala, and now I notice that they're from Honduras. Yeah, so they, like both times, like at Walmart, it was from Honduras, and then all these, they used to sell the ones coming from Guatemala, and now they sell them coming from Honduras, but maybe they'll switch back and forth. But they had the pretty big ones at Walmart, and it was pretty good, but not quite as sweet as the smaller ones. But anyway, yeah, so I had Guatemala on the brain because I've been eating watermelons from Guatemala. And okay, so basically, okay, I'll show you the template again. And okay, so basically, this morning, I was talking to Joel to give me an experience. And I'm trying to remember what time it was. I may not remember exactly. Well, it would have been about 7. Okay, 7 o'clock. And because I got up and went to the bathroom, and then I laid back down, and I was trying to get back to sleep. And then, I had already asked for Joel, to give me some experiences, that evening, or the evening before or whatever. And then I think I started talking again, and but I was trying to get back to sleep, but I was still like wide awake with my eyes closed. Well, I mean, I guess I wasn't maybe 100% awake, but I felt 100% awake. But I had my eyes closed, and I was trying to get an experience. I was trying to fall asleep so I could get an experience, so he could take me at that perfect time, that split second before I fell asleep. Well, he took me way too early. He took me way, way too early, and I was too awake and too alert. So then I started astral traveling. And I'm like, wow, I'm going to get an experience. I'm going to get a good experience. I'm going to get one. And then I was waiting to land into the scenario. I was waiting to land, and then I just woke up and, was back in my bed. But he took me too early. This has happened before, or maybe he's just trying to test me or something. I don't know. So, so that was kind of weird. But, I must have been just barely asleep, but, I was pretty much, almost wide awake with my eyes closed, but he was still able to kind of take me but I was too awake. And so, like I said, I started traveling, because the way he's been taking me, for the past several years has been like this morning, pretty much. He just kind of like takes my whole consciousness out, my whole astral body goes with it, or whatever. And then I start traveling, and then I'm like waiting to drop into the scenario. And then I was back in, I opened my eyes and I was like back in my bed. It was totally botched or whatever. But yeah, he maybe just messed up, because he's done this before, where he's messed up, and But some of the aliens, they can like bam, 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 knock you into that perfect state. But maybe Joel didn't think about doing that, because that one gray bean, when he took me to the NSA building, he did that. He knocked me into the perfect state. And Joel didn't do that. I'm sure he probably knows how to do that. Okay, well, I'll ask him to do that. So then I didn't get an experience by Joel, and then so I laid there a little while longer, and then I was asking them, okay, I was asking Joel to try again, try to give me an experience, try second time around. Well, then I fell asleep, and then I got this awesome experience that I was in Guatemala. So I guess the flat-faced reptilian beings, they won. Oh, and I did have awesome OBE'S lucid dream by Joel. I know it was him, because there was just too much sexual crap in it. I was at the airport forever and ever and ever, taking a trip. I was even on the airplane, like me and Angie were on the airplane, and like flying along, and like we were like, everybody was like 6 feet apart, and I'm like, wow, we got all the space. But anyway, it was a long, drawn out scenario at an airport, and but I'm not going to try to talk about that one. That'll take too long. But it was fun. It was really fun. I know Joel gave me that one. That was a few days ago. But then a few days before that, I did have this awesome one where my grandma popped in the scene, and where I was like, had this long, drawn out scenario. Like I say, that airport one lasted a long time too. And this OBE'S lucid dream where I was at a restaurant, and the restaurant was over there by where Hobby Lobby is. And my grandma popped into the scene. Like midway through the scenario, and she looked about like maybe 75. She didn't look 92. She looked about 75, but that was like an awesome experience. But this one to Guatemala was like freaking awesome too. Okay, so basically it starts out, I'm in the middle of this village, aka small town in Guatemala, and it was a non-tourist street. Tourist, did I say that right? Tourist street? Yeah. Touristy. I don't know if I said that right. Well, anyway, it was a non-tourist street, touristy, well, I don't know, maybe there's extra R in there. But it was a non-tourist street, touristy area, where, it was just a small town village. I mean, there was a few tourists, but not a lot. And so I was just like standing there in the middle of the road. There was 2 houses like behind me. All in the background was mountains, and I immediately saw this white woman over there, several yards ahead of me to the right. She was snapping pictures, and then there was a Guatemalan man several yards to the left of her, and he was like get on with it, like go away, like get on with it. But he was mainly meaning like get away, but he was saying like get on with it. And then he said it like in Spanish or whatever, and I knew that that's what it meant, that he was saying that, get on with it, in Spanish. He said English first, and then he yelled out Spanish later. He yelled out, like get on with it, because he was perturbed. He didn't like tourists in his town, so I thought that was kind of funny. But like I say, at first he spoke English. He yelled it out English, and then it was Spanish. But so that was kind of funny. And then and it was very sunny. It was sunny and humid. It was, it felt very hot and tropical, and the whole scenario, it totally felt like I was in. The energy felt like Guatemala. So this time the aliens didn't screw up on that part, because it totally felt like I was in Guatemala. The energy felt like Guatemala, and it felt like I was in a different dimension. Whereas the one where they took me to Germany, they kind of messed up on that part, because I felt like I was in another country, but I didn't necessarily felt like I was in Germany, even though I already knew I was in Germany. So they kind of messed up on some programming there. But yeah, so they didn't this time because I totally felt like I was in Guatemala. It felt like the energy of Guatemala, and I've never been to Guatemala. I've been to Mexico, Acapulco, but I never been. And yeah, even well, this town felt a little different anyway because it was a smaller town, you know. But I don't know how they do that. I don't know how they do it because like I've never been to Guatemala, but they're still able to make the energy just right, and everything. But anyway, like I said, I had Guatemala, and I was asking them several days ago. I was like, take me to Guatemala, take me to Honduras. Well, they took me to Guatemala this morning, and because it was on my watermelons, Honduras, because I'm always inspecting my food and shit, before I eat it, and man, they're freaking delicious, very sweet, and okay, so then after the man was like get on with it, but mainly that's what he was meaning, like go away. Okay, so several yards behind him, over to the left, there was a little hut, a taco hut. It's a pretty big little area, on the street, a road or whatever. And me and my sister, or this is when my sister showed up, and me and my sister went in there, and I was looking down at the Mexican man, and he was like serving his food and everything. Well, he was serving my sister. He was serving my sister, and I was looking down, and it was just like, oh, it looks so delicious, like peppers and tomatoes, and just everything, cheese and lettuce. And he had like a flour tortilla on the plate, and he was putting all that on the flour tortilla, and then he like rolled it up, and then he gave it to my sister. And I was thinking in my head the whole time, like I was kind of like, this is kind of weird, but in the scenario when I was standing there, I knew I couldn't eat it because I'm allergic to all that now. Rice, I'm allergic to rice, wheat, corn, probably all fucking grains. I know I am. If you're allergic to one grain, you're allergic to them all. That's what these dumb fucks don't tell you about food allergies. If you're allergic to bananas, if you're allergic to latex, you're probably not going to be able to eat a fucking banana. Okay, but like I say, it's all a fucking scam. Like with these food allergies, they act like, you only got or people only have like one or two, when, no, if you got food allergies, chances are you're going to have fucking 22 allergies. And even then some, even a lot more, shit that you don't even know about that you're never even going to eat anyway. So that's, beside the point. But like I already know, like my gut instinct already tells me I'm allergic to shrimp. I already know I am, even though, the food allergy test said I was allergic to shellfish. The reason why shrimp didn't come up was because I hadn't eaten it in millions of years. Well, if you're not eating it, it's not going to show up. But I already know I am. If I'm allergic to fucking chicken and turkey, I guarantee you, and allergic to shellfish, I guarantee you I'm allergic to fucking shrimp. And most likely all fish. But yeah, these dumb motherfuckers. Okay, so anyway, well, it just pisses me off because I had to learn all this like myself, that if you have celiac disease, you're just, once you figure it out, you're just thinking, oh, I'm only allergic to gluten. I'm only allergic to wheat. When corn has gluten in it, and so does rice, and all grains do, pretty much. And your body detects all of that as wheat gluten, so your body still responds. It still is an allergen to all of that. It responds in the same way. Of course, now I'd probably respond even worse if I ever ate it now, because I hadn't eaten corn and rice in a long, long time. I'd probably respond, worse now. But anyway, yeah, but this is kind of weird. So I was in the scenario. I was standing right there and looking at all this delicious, and I've always loved Mexican food. I could eat that every day, like tacos. I would eat like 3/4 of a jar of that Mexican Villa hot sauce in one setting with a whole pack of like wheat crackers or white crackers. I used to do that all the time back in the day, and I would eat almost a whole jar because I love that salsa or that hot sauce. And I used to make my own salsa with like 6 jalapeno peppers, 3 serrano peppers, and cayenne pepper, like 1 habanero pepper, and it used to be so hot. I used to make it so hot. And now I'm allergic to peppers. And like, and just because you've eaten something a lot has nothing to fucking do with, oh, that's why you're allergic now, because you ate it so much. Well, I never ate fucking shellfish in my fucking life until I, ate, until I was taking those mega multivitamins, and guess what? It contained shellfish. That's why it showed up on the allergy test. Because I was eating shellfish, so to speak. Not really, but it was coming from that mega mineral in my body. The blood test detected it. But I've never really eaten shellfish in my life. Like twice I've eaten lobster. And at first I never did really like it. Well, the second time around I think I kind of liked it, but I just was never really into fish or shellfish, and I'm allergic to it. So just because you've been eating something all your life, that has nothing to do with if you're going to become allergic to it, you know what I'm saying? Later on or whatever. Okay, so anyway, so I was standing there looking at all this yummy, yummy, yummy tacos, and oh man, just fresh tomatoes, fresh lettuce, fresh cheese, and everything. And so I was like, this is kind of funny because I've never done this before. So in the scenario, I knew I couldn't eat it. I knew my sister was going to eat it, but I knew I couldn't eat it. So I was kind of like yelling out under my breath and kind of like praying to God or whatever. I was like, please let me eat it. Please let me eat it. But I knew I couldn't eat it, you know what I mean? And I didn't eat it. But that was kind of funny because I've never done that before under my scenario where I wanted to eat it. So I was kind of like praying and yelling out, But yeah, this is a total fucking nightmare. Because, probably 20 times a fucking month, I have nightmares that I'm eating fucking wheat, or corn or whatever. And I know the aliens are, giving me all these scenarios or little dreams here and there where I'm eating gluten, and then I'm afraid I'm going to react and blah, 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 blah. But I don't react, of course, because I'm all under a dream, and sometimes I know it, but sometimes I don't know it till I wake up or whatever. But yeah, that's like a total fucking nightmare. I just try not to let it bother me, you know what I mean? But just as long as I'm eating like the way I'm eating, I don't really crave anything else. But if I'm really kind of hungry and then I start thinking about it, I start smelling like pizza or tacos. I could let it get to me if I really wanted to, but I don't. You know what I'm saying? Okay, because I only eat about 10 things over and over and over again, and that's all I eat. I know that guy always probably thinks I'm weird because I went in there like twice. Do you have watermelons? Do you have watermelons left? Who would be so strung out on wanting to get watermelons? Somebody with a fucking food allergies. And so anyway, yeah. So I was saying that, kind of yelling out or under my breath, like, please let me eat, and it seemed like I was praying to God, basically, like, oh, please let me eat this, please. But I knew I wouldn't be able to eat it, you know what I mean? But my sister was able to eat it and everything. Okay, so then. Okay, let me make sure I'm remembering everything. And like I say, the tourist woman, she had blondish hair, lightish hair. She looked about 58. And like I said, she was a straight up white woman. She was a tourist taking pictures. And like I said, the Guatemalan man was, perturbed. Okay, and so then we went over to get the tacos and stuff, except like I say, I just was like, I didn't get the tacos. I just observed the situation in this little hut, this little food hut. Okay, after all of that, after my sister got her food and everything, then my sister kind of disappeared and she kind of went away. Okay, so then back behind me, I told you there were those two houses. And in the scenario, these houses were like kind of more, they weren't shacks. They were kind of more upscale houses. They were like kind of nice, probably about as nice as this one right there. It didn't look exactly like that, but that it was nice. There was like two houses like behind me. The second house was owned by Guatemalans, by a rich Guatemalan family. The house on the left is the one that I went into, and that was kind of owned by a white family that just kind of went there on vacation. And so I went inside the house, and there was like a mom and dad floating around. As far as I remember, I did see a glimpse of the mom. I can't remember if I saw a glimpse of the dad, but I did see a glimpse of the mom, like roaming around the kitchen. Over to the left was a bedroom, and there was like 3 sons, like teenager sons, like maybe 19, 17, 20, something like that, and they all shared that room, which I don't know why they shared, because it did seem like a pretty big, pretty big house. Pretty good sized house, like, I don't know, 2,000 or more square feet. But anyway, and I kind of like, I don't know, I kind of knew these people. I knew these people, but now I can't remember who they were. In the scenario, they were kind of like acquaintances, kind of like people I kind of knew of. And now I can't really remember who they were, but I know the aliens were copying off, somebody I've seen before. And I saw one of their mattresses was on the floor over there up against the wall on the floor. And I'm like, wow, you guys like to sleep like that too? And they're like, yeah. And it was kind of unkempt. The bedroom was kind of unkempt. And, because in real life, I've always kind of liked sleeping on the floor. I would just have like 2, mattress on the floor, or a box springs and a mattress on the floor. And, well, when I lived in apartments and stuff, because why get a big old bed frame that just takes up a lot of freaking room, you know what I mean? And so I just always like sleeping low to the ground. I don't mind sleeping high to the ground either. But, so I've always slept like that a lot of times. Like in the front bedroom, I just have 2 futon mattresses, on the floor. And I tweaked it a little bit, and oh my god, it's so comfy now after I tweaked it. But, so the aliens were just kind of mocking that. And then over to the, right when you walk to the bedroom, way over to the far left against the wall, that's where the mattress was. It was like a full-size mattress. And then I started observing the bedroom. Over to the right was like a table, and I looked down, and it kind of looked like, I don't know, it kind of looked like they were trying to make something out of, I don't know, like making some kind of house or something out of paper or cardboard or something. And then I saw what kind of looked like a mousetrap game, and I'm like, that looks like a mousetrap game. And I was like, that's my favorite, that used to be my favorite game, and blah 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 blah, which it was when I was little. That used to be my favorite game, the little mousetrap game. And I don't think my mom still has it. But yeah, okay, so let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything, because I wrote it down too, but it's hard to try to read and talk about it at the same time. Okay, so I already talked about that. It failed. The first time I was about to get a good experience by Joel, but it failed. And then I went to Guatemala. I was in like I said, this was kind of a remote area, touristy area. But like I said, I did see a few tourists. And like I said, the Guatemalan family that owned that second house, was considered rich. And then the house I went into, that was owned by a white family as like a vacation home. My sister was popped up late. I started right in the middle of the road. 2 pretty houses were behind me on the street ahead. 2 Guatemalan mountains I saw. And by the way, the mountains were, were all around. Well, in front of me, when I started in the middle of the road, which I already told you that. White trees was snapping, but the one Guatemalan was shouting. He did not get it. He was saying it was annoying. So I could get it. And then, like I said, we walked over to that vendor, the booth of the fresh taco hut. That served, fresh taco food or whatever. And it let me eat it. My sister was able to alert, so we went to okay, part 2. Let me make sure. I'm not done yet, but I just want to make sure I wasn't missing anything. Went to the first page. I never did go into the second house where the Guatemalans, that house that they owned. Mattress laying on, so I knew he used to sleep like that. The reason why the aliens copied that little toy thing, why they copied where it looked like they were making like something out of cardboard that was 3-dimensional, was because I was cleaning under my cabinet last night, and I found this game that I bought at the bookstore. And I think I bought it for my nephew, but he didn't want it. So I kept it. And it says you can make like some kind of tower or something. So I need to try to make it sometime, and it like comes to light. I mean, there's like a light on it and everything. So I need to try to make it sometime. And so I was looking at the box, and and I knew that you could make a 3-dimensional building. I forgot what building it is, but I'll have to go back and look at it. But so that's why the aliens copied that in the scenario, put that in the scenario. And then I already talked about the mousetrap game. Yeah, and here's the other funny part, which I already remembered, but I just wanted to make sure I already said everything up to this point. Okay, so then I started walking around the kitchen, which was to the right of the bedroom. And it was kind of it was kind of a small little kitchen. And there was like a kitchen table right there, and to the left lower part of the wall, a big piece of wallpaper was coming off the wall, and I reached down there to try to stick it back on the wall. Another funny part was when I went into the kitchen and I saw a big wallpaper border on the bottom part of the wall. To the left, it fell off, and it was like 8 feet long and 15 inches wide, and I started to reach down and sponge the dirty spots off of it, and I tried to stick it back on the lower part of the wall where it came from, but I was having a hard time sticking it back on the wall. Yeah, the aliens copied off of that because of what I've done in this house. And last night, I was getting that the border thing, or that soft liner, the liner that you put on the bottom of the cabinets. I was taking that off and sponging it off, and in the scenario it was that exact same width and everything, some of the pieces. So the aliens were trying to copy off of that. Oh yeah, and the fact that I'll be trying to in the garage I have this thing on the wall, and it keeps coming unstuck, and I keep like pressing it to stay stuck, against the paint. So the aliens copied off of that. It's like a, what do you call it? Like where I work, it's just a little I don't know what you call it. Shit, I can't think of what you call it, but it's a little thing that's posted up at work. And they're, they don't have them posted at work anymore. They took them down, so I took it home as a souvenir, and I put it on my wall, in the garage. And so that's where the aliens copied off of this poster. I guess that's what you call it, poster. Well, I don't think they called them that. I forgot what they called them. They're not a poster. Okay, so yeah, so I was like reaching down there and sponging it off and trying to stick it back on the, on the lower part of the wall. So that was kind of funny. Okay, now here's the last part of the scenario. So then I walked outside to stand where I started in the scenario. I started standing there, and my mom was there. And as I was standing there, there was a female vendor to the left of her, a few yards away, and she was selling her beautiful spring dresses. They look like spring kind of dresses with all light pastel colors with geometric prints that she had cut out. And almost like she ironed the material, the patches on there. And then, like there was like two spring dresses. One had the pastel colors on them, the patches, the geometric patches that were cut out, by her, the Guatemalan vendor woman. And then when she held up the other one to the right of that spring dress, it kind of had like stitching, like cross stitching or whatever you call it. I'll show you pictures in a minute. And my mom was trying to like argue, like I was like, Mom, these are beautiful, you need to buy one. And she's like, they're ugly and they're expensive, and they were only like $8. In the scenario, they were only about $8 a piece, which is pretty cheap. And but my mom was saying that they were ugly and expensive, but they were beautiful. But that second dress was like she was stitching, like some kind of designs by a needle. It was like cross-stitching or whatever it's called into the fabric. And the dresses were very thin, almost like translucent material, except for the thick patterns, the thick geometric patterns that she put on them or ironed on them. Well, I'm not sure if she ironed them or sewed them on. But anyway, it's like I know the aliens copied off of these thin, weird material, thin material napkins that my mom had given me several months ago. Yeah, she had, but they're kind of worthless as napkins because they don't soak up anything. But anyway, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they weren't napkins. I thought they were napkins, so I don't know. Maybe they weren't napkins, but I have some in the closet back there. But yeah, I mean, they're, I don't know, maybe they're not napkins, like I said, because they're not going to sop up. But yeah, it was like really thin material, almost like the napkins that my mom gave me, except I don't know if they were napkins. And some of them do kind of have that cross stitching or whatever. In my scenario, the second dress that the Guatemalan woman held up was like this one. Had like stitching, like little designs and stuff of stitching. There wasn't any down here, just up here. And well, in this picture it was down here, but I chopped it off because it was just mainly up here. But the first dress, you know, with that really thin material, was you know, had the geometric, colorful, like what's it called? Pastel colors, and it was just like this. Like there was 2 triangles, and then a couple. The other shapes I can't remember exactly, but I totally remember the 2 triangles. And then there was a couple other shapes, and then like one other shape, and it was all kind of like light green and light pink and light blue. And yeah, but that was kind of cool. And like she only wanted like $8, and they were like beautiful, you know. But yeah, I know what the aliens were trying to copy off of. They were copying off that exact same material, and it does have stitching on them. I think I have them actually. I mean, I think I know where they're at, actually. But that was kind of cool. And that's pretty much, I think I already said everything. And that was pretty much the experience. Okay, let me make sure I said everything. You like to right corner of the bedroom. 8 feet long. Okay, yeah. It was cool. It was a fun experience. Yeah, no. But yeah, this is what the aliens tried to copy off of. It's pretty funny. It's probably gonna cut off pretty soon. Okay, let me see. I know I have them here somewhere. I thought I did. Let's see. Okay, maybe it may take me too long to find them. Oh no, you know what? Oh, some of them, I think I did get rid of them. Yeah, I think I got rid of them, but a couple of them I have at work. I remember now. But anyway, they were trying to copy off that exact same material.